I think today this will be a good spot for our camp. Not camping out overnight, I'm just doing a little cooking. But today I thought I'd do something a little different. Thought I would talk about Viking Age tools. So when it comes to Viking Age reenactment, and when it comes to what the Vikings might have carried on like long travels, this is kind of what I've thought about over the years and what I've kind of put together. It's very loosely based off of the 5 C's of survival plus whatever convenient things I want to carry for a day hike or overnight, and what I think would be historically probable for the Viking Age people. So we don't really know what they would have carried. Camping and recreational hiking wouldn't have existed back then. But what would have existed would have been trekking, like going from one town or settlement to another far away. This is kind of what I think would be the approximation of what a Viking Age person would carry. So, like I said, I kind of based mine off of the 5 C's of survival. We've got canteen. This is just a leather water bottle. Actually, let me make sure I'm in frame. I don't have anyone helping me today, so. Okay. Sorry about that. We're going to adjust just a little bit. Hopefully this will be good. Hopefully you guys can see me. So, got the canteen. Carry your water. Obviously you can't boil water in that. That'll come later. But this is just leather that's been impregnated with wax. I melted a bunch of wax into it. I made this myself. The stopper's just made of wood. It holds about, I believe, almost half a gallon of water. Yeah, these are very fragile, but very cool. Figure out where to put it. They're not like fragile. In worst case scenario, you just have to remelt leather onto it, so it's not that big a deal. I guess I should talk about my clothing really quick too. So I've got a wool hat on. It looks knitted, but it's a technique they had back then called nail binding or nalabindna. I don't really know how it works. I don't know how that works. I've never made anything like that. All my clothes are made from linen, except for these and the hat, shoes. So I've got a tunic, I've got Rus Eastern Viking style pants, leg bindings or winnegas, and is what they used to call it. Got these Viking boots. These are most everything I'm wearing is based off historical finds. I don't know them right all off the top of my head, but yeah. So let's see. We'll talk about this. We've got a large size knife. This is a knife I forged myself. It's an old file that I turned into a knife. This handle is made from the end of a 2x4 that I thought had a particularly interesting grain pattern. And the brass ends are made from an old door hinge. And I wet molded the sheath and did some engravings on it. It's got kind of like a Norse inspired dragon. Got a belt pouch. This is another Rus style piece of kit that I have. And in this I just carry a couple essentials. I'll show those later. Then there's a small knife for finer work and eating, food prep, anything you need that for. Then I've got a wooden cup or kuksa. I don't know if that would have necessarily been accurate. Like most of this stuff is like, take it as a grain of salt, but we don't really know what they carried. Like this hood is called a Sköl hood, and it's just a thin linen hood that's removable from the tunic. But the Vikings didn't wear these. I see it's a reenactorism. I see a lot of people, almost everyone at Viking reenactments wearing these. But I think we found only 1 or 2 examples of these, and it was from a Sami woman, which the Sami people are another group of European people, another European tribe. But the Vikings definitely probably weren't wearing these. It's just a reenactorism. That's going to be a lot of the stuff I have. So next, we'll stay on the canteen. So we've got the canteen. That's the way to carry water. Then we've got this, which is a little cauldron. This wouldn't have been carried. This would have been an extremely expensive item back then because steel is hard to make. So in here I've got an onion for today's little meal I'm doing. I've got a hook that I use for pulling off or hanging. So this is what you can boil your water in. You can cook with it. I'm going to use the lid as a skillet later today. I do that all the time. Let's see. So we've got cutting, canteen. We'll talk about cordage. I've got this little Hedeby bag. So this is another thing. This is kind of just what we guess. Little shoulder bag or haversack type thing that they may have carried. But I think we've only found wood from these top parts, and we were like, yeah, that's probably from a bag. Maybe. We don't really know. So yeah, I've got this little shell. Sometimes I'll use that as a little bowl or spoon if I'm not carrying other things. I've got a lot of cooking stuff in here. I guess we'll go over the cooking stuff. I've got a little spatula made from walnut. Little scallop shell. Got a spoon for eating and cooking. I've got a little container, salt in it, rough brown sea salt. I believe that's pretty much all I have for cooking. So the next C is cordage. What we've got here is a bunch of handmade cordage that I've made. I showed the technique for making this in another video, I think my last video in fact. And then we'll go to combustion, which for that we have a flint steel kit. This is a recreation of a fire steel from Burke, I believe it was grave number 644. I've got in here also a piece of flint. I've got tinder in the top. I've got a piece of tinder fungus in the bottom. And then a charred piece of fat wood. All of these will catch and take a spark. That's how we're going to be lighting a fire today. So that's my combustion. We've got another cutting tool. This is more of a cooking knife. An axe. This was hand forged. We've got a candling device, which is a candle. Canvas sail needle. I've got a needle set here and some linen thread. I've got also a Sami style. I got a lot of questions on this from one of my past pictures and videos. I've got a Sami style needle case, and I've got various sizes of needles in here for different stuff. These needles are not period accurate, but neither is most of my stuff. Also in here I've got some fat wood. I've got a sharpening stone. For coverage I've got a wool blanket, pretty good size. That can be used as a cloak, that can be used as a shelter, that can be used obviously as a blanket. More cooking stuff, that's kind of a plate, bowl, cutting board. I use it for pretty much everything. Another plate. And that's pretty much it. As far as okay, getting set up. Yeah, like I said, today is a really short day trip. I came out way late. Actually, I don't know if I said that, but I came out way later than I normally do for these videos, for a day hike, for doing anything at all. That's just kind of the nature of life. You never know how things are gonna go. Today we're going to be making a Viking onion soup. Now, allegedly, this soup, which is just going to be basically onion, I think I'm going to put some dumplings and some lentils in it. But apparently, a very heavy onion soup, the Vikings would make a soup of just onion, a lot of onion, after warriors would go to battle, and feed them the soup and see if there were any cuts or wounds to the gastrointestinal tract by seeing if they could smell onions from the wounds. And typically, if the wound smells oniony, that probably means they're going to die. Now, what they didn't know was that onion is an antimicrobial, and potentially, I don't know if this has happened ever, but potentially could have saved a couple Vikings from infection. They didn't really have the understanding of germ theory back then, so yeah, I have forgotten my firewood. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that and figure out exactly where I want to make this fire. I'm thinking right about, maybe right about here-ish. I do have to be conscientious of the roots. I don't want to burn any roots off the tree. So we will see. I will be right back. Alright. Hopefully everything's in frame. I don't have anyone helping, so we'll see how it goes. But we're going to do pretty much everything the way the Vikings would have. Needs a flint and steel. Start my fire. See, and I see a lot of reenactors carry they'll carry a char tin, use char cloth to start their fires. But that, I don't believe, was done until way later. I believe like the Victorian era almost, or later even than that. Now hopefully I can get this going. I'm going to try to use this, I said I said this was fat wood earlier. This is punk wood. So we're going to try to make a go of it. What's going to happen is, that was fast, spark lands on this already charred wood. It'll smolder and smolder and smolder. I don't need all of that, so I'm going to put out this half. I have gotten ahead of myself. I should have made my fire lay first. I'm getting a little too excited. I'm too much of a rush. That's what I get. I have also not collected, I don't believe, nearly enough kindling. But we will see. I mean, like I said, I've got time. This little piece of wood will probably smolder for close to 10 minutes. We're going to get this going. That's what I get for being frazzled. You know what they say, haste makes waste. That is very true. This wood is very dry. This is cedar wood, so it's not going to burn very long. I always like to try to put my things away, especially my fire kit and stuff. I've burned a ferrocerium rod by not paying attention. After I started a fire, and it rolled into the fire because I was not paying attention to what I was doing. I was so preoccupied with getting the fire going. It was a particularly difficult fire. So I was just excited the fire was going, gave it all my attention. That's why it's always good to put your stuff back up right after you're done using it. Okay. We'll see. I might need to gather a little bit more wood. But yeah, if I've got any reenactors watching as well, I know there's a lot of you guys that are friends with me on Facebook. I don't know how many of you have found my channel from that, but we'll see. If any of you guys are here, feel free to leave a comment. If you are, how about you leave a Sköl in the comment section if you're a Viking reenactor and you found my video. Or if you're interested in reenactment, let me know. If this is the type of content you guys would like to see from my channel in the future, if you're here more for the regular bushcraft stuff, let me know. We're going to make a go of this, and hopefully get this going. I'm actually going to stack the odds in my favor a little bit more with some fat wood. There's that pot lid I was talking about. We're going to take some, use my knife, which is a Viking age knife, in order for it to be somewhat accurate. Sorry if you can't see that. In order for it to be accurate, it cannot be a full tang knife. There was no full tang knives back then. And the reason for that is, like I said earlier, steel is very expensive and hard to make. So they'd only save, or they'd save as much as possible. So it'd be a through tang, which that means that this piece of steel here thins out and goes all the way through to the end. You can see the end there where I've peened it over the edge. Getting low on our hunk wood. I think this should probably be good enough. A couple more shavings just for good measure. Worst case scenario, I have to start a fire over. I will not edit this failure out. I do not believe in that. I want to be as authentic as possible when it comes to my content, because I've been doing this a long time, and I kind of have a fear of people thinking, oh, he's just some guy who sees how popular bushcraft is on YouTube and doesn't really know anything about it. But I've been coming out to the woods a long time. So we're going to give it some air, get close to our fire. close in on it a little bit more. You don't want to smother it, but it's all about finding a balance of having enough contact, enough airflow. That's much better. Okay. Now we're going to quickly put our kindling on. Hopefully that fat wood keeps our tinder going a little bit while these smaller pieces try to go. It did downpour earlier for like 10 minutes, so everything's a little bit damp, but you can see the black smoke coming off. I don't know how well I'm in frame here, but I think we're probably good. I'm gonna probably get up here in a second and check, see if you guys can see where we're at. I really apologize if this is off to the side. But I think we are in business. Yep, that's a good sound. So let me check, see where we're at with the camera. I'm gonna move this over just a little bit. Pardon the shaking, I'm pretty new to filming. So this is all pretty new to me. Yeah, I've been doing Viking Age reenactment a couple of years. I went to this place called Ravensbourg. It was a Viking long fort that was in Knox, Missouri, with a group of people, a group of reenactors, Sköl East, based in St. Louis area. And went out there and I had a really awesome time. There were really some awesome people. If any of you guys are watching, let me know. But yeah, it's like I really got into Viking Age reenactment mostly for survival stuff. I was learning, you know, survival and survival skills, and I was like, I wonder what it would look like if I had a Viking survival kit. And this isn't everything. This is just what I brought out for today. I think I'm going to make a much more in-depth video, probably in winter time, because that's when a lot of the better stuff comes out. The cooler clothes, the fire's going pretty well. The nice wool clothes, a lot of the cooler clothes. Yeah, it's just a lot easier to walk around in wool in winter. Right now, it is, I believe it's almost 90 degrees today. But yeah, we're going to be making some flatbread and some soup. So I'm going to go ahead, while that gets to where I can use the fire, put some water in here, let the lentils start soaking before I put it on the fire. Sorry for the immersion breaking bag, but I am a modern man. Probably going to have leftovers. So yeah, this is pretty much just going to have lentils, onion, and I think I'm going to make some dumplings to go with this as well, because I've never done that. But I think from my research, the Vikings did at least make little balls of dough that they threw in their soups. Sometimes I think there's modern ones that are kind of that date back to that. Allegedly, I don't really know. I do not claim to be an expert. I am just a enthusiast. I just enjoy it. I think it's something really cool, and like I said, I'm more of a I come from it from a survival background as opposed to a historical reenactment background. I mean, I do 18th century and I do Viking Age reenactment, but those are not my primary interests. I also really like Viking Age reenactment because I like making stuff. Like I made this knife, I made this knife, I made this cup, spatulas, spoons, just really anything that gives me the excuse to get out in nature and make things and do things that are fun. I'm just going to cut these onions. I have forgotten to cut that off. I see a lot of people that I camp with, they'll throw like little bits of food and stuff out while they're camping. That's fine for some things, but try not to do that. Because like onion or garlic, for example, that is toxic to a lot of things. And it may be on fire a little bit there for a second. But it may be poisonous to some things out in the woods. I'm on fire in another spot. That cedar is spitting. A little bit away, maybe. But yeah, it's poisonous to certain animals. Like I remember I had a friend that I went on a float trip with once, and she just left like a whole pile of chocolate next to the fire. And I mean, it wasn't regular like Hershey's either. It was, I think it was Ghirardelli dark chocolate. And I was like, yeah, you should throw that away or take that or something, because some dog comes by and eats that. That dog's not going to have a good time. But yeah, just be conscientious, not to be too preachy or anything, but try to be conscientious of the woods and nature in general. Not to be too hippy-dippy-ish, but I believe that respecting these places is how we preserve them. Because I would like to keep coming out in the woods and enjoying nature, but if there's less nature, there's less to enjoy. I might be just rambling, but I am actually going to go ahead and throw that on really quick, because you can't burn water. And we are quickly losing wood. But yeah, so yeah, we're going to make a little bit of soup, talk a little bit more at you. I'm really trying to figure out what I want to do content-wise. Like, I'm sure the day hike videos are going to get old after a while, so I'd like to keep them. I'd like to keep them, you know, fresh and do different things. But I'm just not sure what you guys are going to like, my loyal subscribers. Which, by the way, just broke 100 subscribers yesterday, I think, or day before, at the time of this recording, and now I'm already at 150 already. I did not think my channel was going to grow this quickly at all. I thought maybe I'd have like 20 subscribers within the first month, maybe. I thought that might have been a stretch, but my channel is only a couple weeks old. I think 3 weeks old at this time. But yeah, thanks everyone who subscribed. I think if my channel keeps growing the way it is, I think I'll do a video where I'll make something, maybe forge a knife, fire steel, maybe I'll put together a fire kit with a fire steel I forged, and if I hit 500 subscribers, maybe I'll do a little bit of a giveaway. I mean, I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that, but yeah, ooh, we're already boiling. That's good. So we're going to go ahead and make some flatbread. So flatbread, the way I make it, this is just flour and seasoning. That's how I believe that they made it, the Vikings that is. I mean, it would have been a different kind of flour. This is white flour, ultra processed. Wheat flour would have been more likely to be barley flour or oat flour, other kinds of flour. Excuse me. But yeah, it's flour and water, super easy to, I make these at home sometimes. Let's see if that's going to be enough. Water, what I like to do, just kind of a mess-free version. I think I added too much water, but we'll see. Kind of a mess-free version is just doing it in a bag like this, and this is easy to do for camping. I had someone ask for like a bannock recipe on, I believe it was either Facebook or Reddit. Someone asked me how I make my stuff, and this is how it's just literally, I pour out an unmeasured amount of flour. I season it with a bunch of garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, salt, pepper, just kind of to your liking. And yeah, just add some water. You'll see it'll get stiff like this. It'll make a shaggy dough, which is good. That means I didn't add too much water. Try to halfway clean myself up a little bit before I start touching this dough a whole bunch. I think we may need to get some more wood. This stuff burned down a little bit faster than I was hoping for. Yeah, I can't thank you guys enough for subscribing and supporting the channel, commenting. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm not like trying to get to a point where I can like, you know, I don't think I'll be able to support myself solely off of the YouTube channel, but I mean, just the people interacting is awesome. I mean, it's really, it makes me happy. I mean, that's why I'm doing it. I just kind of want to get, you know, some of the stuff that I like out there and a little bit of myself out there. I only have a couple of outdoorsy friends, but life kind of has a way of making it hard to get together when you're an adult. You know, I work a full-time job, and so does everyone else, and my schedule is pretty all over the place, and so are theirs, so it's hard to get out and do stuff. So this kind of makes me feel like, I don't know, makes me feel like I have more of a reason to come out here. Not to get too sappy. Yeah, so this is getting just about where we like it. I'm going to grab a little pinch of it off. This is going to stick to your hands. It's just kind of the nature of it. Roll it into a ball. May take a second to start constituting into a ball. That's a very sticky dough. I usually try to keep a little bit of extra flour to put on the outside to kind of help not stick, but that didn't happen. I did not think about it. So once it kind of starts forming, I like to just squeeze in a circle. You just kind of spin it. Yeah, we're definitely going to go get some more wood. Yeah, you don't want it to get too thin in any spots like there, or else you get that. Just pinch it shut. I'm trying to keep this roughly the size of this lid, because I'm just going to literally set it on there, and then set it right on the fire. You know what, we're going to move that so you guys can see it a little better. It's going to get some ashes on it. That's fine. I call that wood seasoning. And I'm going to, while that's starting to go, I'm gonna go grab some wood. And I'll be right back with you guys. There's a lot of cedar in this area, so that's mainly what I have to work with. Oh, it's gorgeous, actually. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but I believe that's purple heart, maybe? I don't know my woods that well. I'm definitely just I'm more of a whittler than a woodworker. Oh. Go ahead. Give this boy a flip. Looking good. But yeah, there's definitely some really cool things about Viking Age reenactment, especially when it comes to camping and like outdoor stuff. Like these leg bindings are awesome. They keep ticks out really well. This year's been really bad about ticks. Actually, in my last video, my friend that was helping me film, Joey, got absolutely covered in seed ticks. Well, that's nice. Bunch of fishing line on this tree. This is what I'm talking about. You got to be respectful. In the same forest, I found once a crow that had been, I believe, choked itself on some fishing line. It was hung in a tree really far up. I just happened to glance up and see it, and it was gone. It had a bunch of fishing line around its neck. I'm gonna take this home, throw it away correctly, instead of just leaving it for whatever animal to get tangled up in. Yeah, let me know if you like this format of video more, instead of me cutting and just talking about a random thing or doing a random task. It requires a lot less editing on my part to do it this way, I think. Who knows? Could be more work in the end, but I think I am going to shorten like some stuff, but all I'm going to really do is shorten a couple parts. Maybe like when I went to go get the firewood, I was gone for a minute, but that is hot. There we go. Yeah, flatbread's starting to look good. Fire's definitely stoked up. I'm going to get it going on the other side a little bit better, I think. Give it a good stir. Oh yeah. But yeah, the way that, sorry, I'm bouncing everywhere, kind of having an ADHD moment, but these leg bindings are pretty much too tight for ticks to get in, so that keeps ticks from getting in the bottom of your pants, crawling up. So that means they can only get in at the top of your pants. I mean, you can still get seed ticks in your socks and stuff, but I mean, it's definitely, I think, helped. Lots of beavers on this little pond. That's where I got a lot of this wood from, is from trees that they chewed. Beaver fall. Cool. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and I don't need that much flatbread, I'm just by myself. I might take some home to my wife, but I think I'm just going to roll a lot of this into dumplings. Just roll it into a ball. I'm going to do smaller than that. Roll it into a ball. Drop it in, let it do its thing, let it cook. This is an experiment, I've never really done this, but I will let you know how it goes. That's one thing I really like doing too, is, you know, figuring out camping and, you know, okay, if I bring flour that's already seasoned, what all can I use it for? I can make bread. I've made kind of a proper bread. I mixed beer in with it so it gets the yeast. Oh, that one belongs to the fire. But and let it sit for a while, let it proof overnight at a camp, and it turned out okay. Wasn't great, but definitely different than flatbread. Oh my gosh, okay. Like I said, this dough is really sticky. I would try to save this one, but it had fishing line in it, so. Oh. I don't know if anyone else does that. When your pot's boiling over, blows on it. I've shown that to a couple people and they've been like, oh my god, I didn't know you could do that. But let me know if you've done that before in the comments. I'm not just trying to engagement bait you guys and have you talk to me, but it really does help the channel when you guys comment. But I just want to hear back from you guys. Feedback's very important to me. I want this, you know, it's like the more feedback I get, the more I know what I'm doing right and wrong when it comes to the YouTube thing. I've watched a lot of YouTube, but this is my first YouTube channel that I posted videos on. Alright. Lentils are looking good. I'm going to go ahead and chuck this back over here. Fire going under there a little bit. Might go wash my hands in this pond in a minute. I'm always reluctant to put rocks in or near fires because they can explode. I had one trip, a winter camping trip, my brother-in-law's, and had a bunch of rocks explode, and that was not a fun time. No one got hurt, but hot rocks flying everywhere is not a fun time. Oh, I didn't talk about my pack at all for this trip. It's just a basic basket pack, really. I don't know how accurate it is, but it definitely it's pretty plausible, as I like to say. definitely going. I'm going to add some salt to it. Got just a little salt container here. It's looking good. I think it may end up being more of a stew than a soup, though. That's all right. Toss a couple more dumplings on here. I guess I could tell you guys a little bit about my background in this video. So I've been practicing survival skills probably, I would say since 2011, 2012 maybe later. It might have been about 2013. Fill you in on some of the lore, my lore, and yeah, I just got an interest in it, caught the bug, and really got into learning all the skills out there. And then I got into, big part of that is knives. Everyone back then on YouTube especially, they were talking about knives and, oh, the best survival knife for you. And, best survival knife 2013, all that stuff. I don't know why this dough is not rolling at all. But, so I got really into that, and then I was dirt poor. So I was like, it'd probably be cheaper to start making knives. And so I did. I just started forging knives. I started off with I believe it was a piece of a railroad track, but not the actual track itself, the things that hold the track down on the piece of wood. I started with that and a stump and a hammer, and just started messing around and started forging knives. And then from there I went to leather work, because I was like, oh, well, I want sheaths. So I started working on leather work, and just the skill set's kind of grown out of that. And I've just explored. I think it's important to explore your passions and your interests. I think too many people these days just work and go home, and they don't have hobbies, they don't have interests, because they're too tired from work. And so they just don't do anything. And it's really sad, and then your phone, I say as I'm filming a YouTube video, eats up a lot of your time. I think we give way too much time to our phones. But yeah, I think it's important to go out there and feed your hobbies, interests, whatever that looks like for you. I think this soup, minus a couple dumplings, is just about done. Losing a lot of water. I think I might add a little bit of water, but that looks like a dumpling. Hey! I've never made this before, so I mean, this could be an absolute travesty. Could be terrible. But, that's what's fun, is learning and doing. I think I gotta get this fire a little bit more sorted out, so yapping. That'll just about do it. If you guys are interested in the Viking stuff, let me know. I'll make a more in-depth video talking about it, going a little more in depth in gear, and maybe see if any of the people from my reenactment groups are interested in maybe coming and talking. I know a couple of the people in the groups are archaeologists who they have degrees in archaeology, so they know a hell of a lot more than I do. I'm just some guy, but they know a lot more than me. How hot is this? Pretty hot, but not too hot. Alright, put this back up here. Let that finish cooking. You pretty much know it's done by how it looks, at least me. So if you look at it, there's these spots where it's it looks wet and darker. These top parts, especially where it's getting browned, that looks pretty much fine. You can kind of see once it turns all a uniform color, especially once it starts getting a little bit of golden brown on it. That's how you know it's almost done. I think I'm actually gonna maybe pull that soup off. I'll give it a few more minutes. Take a drink of water. It's important to stay hydrated while you're out here, especially when it's this warm. Yeah, these things are cool. I misspoke earlier. I realized I said if you need to repair these, you melt more leather on the outside. I meant beeswax. You can't melt leather. That's silly. I don't know why YouTube makes me so flustered. Sorry, I'm trying to think of stuff to say. It's just, I was not very prepared for today, but I realized if I didn't come out today, I wouldn't be able to come out for like a week. And I don't believe the YouTube algorithm is too forgiving when it comes to being away for more than a couple days. I haven't done like a whole lot of research, but the research I have done pretty much tells me it's like post as often as you can in order for people to actually get shown your stuff. Yeah, it's definitely been interesting. I never would have guessed that I would have gotten as many subscribers. I think my channel has like, last I checked, I think like 23,000 views or something like that, which like amazing. Thank you guys so much. My shorts are a lot more popular than my long videos, but I think that's just kind of the nature of the internet these days. People kind of go for the short videos a lot more. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this out. Those lentils are turning into mush. I'm gonna set this to the side. Let it cool off. Oh, I left the hook on there. That's fine, it can come too. But yeah, I think we're pretty much about done. I think I'm just going to make this one piece of flatbread and save the rest, make it at home. Yeah, sorry this video is kind of not very well done. It was just, I didn't have anyone to film, help me out. It was pretty rushed. I didn't make a script or anything. I mean, I don't make any scripts for my videos so far, but I probably should. It'll probably keep me from rambling as much if I have a little bit more of an idea of what I'm going to say when I get out here. It's just making it up on the fly, but this one's just kind of a free-form rant by the fire type video. I'm going to go wash up a little bit while this flatbread cooks. Actually, I think I'm going to stay here and wash up. I don't think the pond I'm next to, it's pretty steep right next to the bank, so I don't want to These Viking shoes are cool, but they don't have any tread or traction or anything. But yeah, I keep asking everyone to, you know, be like, hey, let me know what you want to see in the next video. I don't get a lot of feedback from that though. So I'll just kind of, I guess, keep doing my own thing until I start hearing back a little bit more on what you guys want. I think one of my next videos is I'm going to try to do a little experiment. I've got a BioLite stove that makes electricity, has a little fan that blows in it. I believe that if I make like some, you know, hardwood charcoal for that and put it in there, I believe I could probably forge in it. So I think that'd be really interesting to see if I could forge out in the woods with that. But we'll see. I think we're just about done here. Scoop a little bit of this out. Throw it in my kuksa. This thing's a bowl, it's a cup. It's awesome. Throw that in there. I think I'm going to grab some of these dumplings. Bring them over. I'll show you guys kind of how everything turned out. That's a big one. Oh, get behind you so I can see. But yeah, oop, spilled a little bit. But yeah, I think that turned out pretty well. Go ahead and give it a try. Flatbread's pretty much done, I can tell. Or at least it's close enough for my taste. Yeah, definitely getting burned. So we're going to put that there, let that cool off, take a bite of this, get a little bit of everything. Oh, there's a little dumpling, onion, lentil. That's pretty damn good, actually. Grab a little piece of flatbread. Still pretty hot, but give it a good dunk. Good stuff. I'll definitely make this again. Super easy. But yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. I don't really know how to close these videos out. I don't have like a catchphrase or anything, but see you guys in the next video. Stay safe out there.